I have a new video for you guys because today we are talking about the Olsen twins. Mary-Kate and Ashley are the most iconic childhood stars from our generation, but their life wasn't all fame and fortune. Both of these girls went through tragic experiences in the limelight, and that's why we don't hear from them anymore. So today we're going to talk about what these twins went through and how society failed them. So let's get into it. I'm really excited about today's video because so many of you guys reached out to me and you were like, Sloan, why haven't you covered the Olsen twins? And I was like, hold up, because I know who the Olsen twins are. I grew up with them on my TV screen, but I never realized how much trauma they went through. Both Mary-Kate and Ashley went through traumatic experiences and they have their own stories. So today we're going to walk through some of those events they went through as children and throughout their career that should have never happened. Like I said earlier, society failed these girls, and you're going to understand why. Before we get into the video, I do want to say I do have merch. It's on Amazon. Literally no pressure at all, but I want to give it a shout out because a lot of you guys did not know that. But that's where this shirt came from, and I really appreciate your guys' support. But Mary-Kate and Ashley are Hollywood icons. They started working at only 6 months old, and they're currently 34. So they've been famous their entire lives. And in today's video, we're going to go through it all. But I wanted to start back in 2004 because that was an extremely dark time in Mary-Kate's life. The twins were only 17 years old, and Mary-Kate was being accused of using substances to keep herself thin. She was extremely thin at this time. I mean, both of them were really thin, but Mary-Kate especially was, and it was worrying to a lot of people, including her family. Mary-Kate was actually forced into an intervention by her parents right after high school and before going to college at NYU. Throughout this video, you guys will realize that these twins were worked very hard. Even when Mary-Kate was in need for help with her ED, her parents decided to fit in treatment between high school and college because they could never get a break. The girls were constantly working, constantly in school, and when Mary-Kate needed help, she got help, but it was in between a time where she had a little lull so that she didn't miss any work. Her parents sent her away to Utah into a city called Sundance, and she stayed at a place called Cirque Lodge, which is a rehab facility to help treat her ED and potentially substance issues, but I don't believe that she actually ever had substance issues. I just believe that she was very thin at some time, and the media assumed that it was due to substances, but she was actually struggling with her ED. She stayed at that facility for 30 days, and then she was out. And you guys might think, oh, that was it. She got treatment and she was all better, but that was not it. The way that her parents handled her ED was unforgivable. The Olsen parents actually took away Mary-Kate's Range Rover in an attempt to get her to eat. Their goal was to get her to gain weight, and by taking away her car, they believed they would succeed. Obviously, that's a horrible way to treat someone with an ED. Forcing them to eat by taking away their car or, just sending them off to Utah, or even worse, hiring someone to watch them eat and count their calories. You guys have it right, because Mary-Kate was only 17 at this time, and her parents hired someone to watch Mary-Kate, to stay with her, and to follow her into New York and college so they can ensure that she is eating. You guys know that we've talked about EDs on my channel before. You can't even say the words really, but I take these so seriously, and to hear how Mary-Kate's was handled sounds like a nightmare. Literally having someone watching you eat all day who's paid there to ensure that you're eating, to have your car taken away from you, to be sent to some facility, and when she was sent away, like I said, it was during a little lull in her career so that she didn't miss any work. Once the twins moved to New York City for college, they continued to work, and they actually had a movie come out titled The New York Minute. This was actually the last time Ashley ever acted in a movie or on screen, and it's the last time she ever will because she's been very open with the fact that she does not feel comfortable behind the camera anymore. But during this time and while they filmed this movie, New York Minute, Mary-Kate was struggling with her ED. But she was good at hiding it. People who have been on that movie, on that set, including Dr. Drew, who is so random. Like, why is he everywhere? He actually spoke out and said that he had no idea that Mary-Kate was dealing with an ED at that time. I mean, keep in mind that he's a doctor and such, and he handles mental health. But he claims that she was hiding it well, and I believe that she was, because after the training her parents put her through with someone watching her at all times and, taking away her car, of course she knows how to hide it now. The twins actually did an interview with Oprah that same year, and I want to show you guys a little bit of it. This interview has actually recently gone viral because of how uncomfortable and inappropriate it is. Oprah will be asking some very, like I said, inappropriate questions in a moment, so actually trigger warning for you guys. But they're going to first start off talking about her childhood and their fame. I mean, you guys will hear her say that they weren't just famous, they were working. They never looked at it as fame because they started working at 6 months old. So it's never been like a thing for them. They never even developed the concept of fame because they were always famous, if you get what I mean.
How do you keep yourself so grounded when you have so much?
Well, I think, we have a huge family and family life is very important to us. And we were never thrown into this business, you know? We grew up in it, and this is kind of all we know. So it was never a sudden thing.
That's so
I can't even imagine
You've always been famous.
But for us, we don't even think of it that way. We've grown up working.
Why do I find that little bit so sad when she says, oh, we never saw it that way. We just grew up working.
I've been on Full House forever.
That's why I really don't agree with child stardom, because you steal away a childhood away from someone by making them a star and forcing them to work throughout their childhood. I mean, these girls never got a break, and we will walk through their family life and their career in a little bit. But I want to show you guys the bit where Oprah asks these girls their size. I hope that if Oprah rewatched this clip that she would kind of regret how she handled this, because asking someone with an ED about their size is just so triggering. You can tell it was a very uncomfortable conversation they had as well.
I know there's a new rumor that's recently surfaced, has really upset you, right? The one about eating.
Yeah, people are going to write what they want to write. We try not to read the good or the bad because it just kind of comes with the territory. Either you're too fat, you're too skinny, and people are just going to write what they
What size are you, by the way?
Size.
She's literally like, oh my gosh, you're either too fat, too skinny, and what does Oprah ask? Oh, what size are you, by the way? We need to back that up.
Fat, you're too skinny, and people are just going to write what they
What size are you, by the way?
Size.
Yeah, I always like to know.
We shouldn't even be having this conversation. That is the problem with our world, is that their mind just goes to this. They're like, oh yeah, let's ask her about her size, because that's totally appropriate when addressing rumors that she's been dealing with an ED. I think the worst part of this bit is how Oprah is very sarcastic at the end, and when she's listening to them, not even listening to them, talk about their answers to her question, she's like, oh, how interesting. And it's obviously very sarcastic, and it's just writing off everything they just said.
Size?
Yeah, I always like to know.
I'm really sure.
You're not sure?
Girls, and
that's so interesting.
Obviously they're laughing it off, but it's so awkward. Even watch her face. She'll be smiling, and she's just like, oh. Right there. You saw that? It wasn't funny. It really isn't. This is a nervous laugh right here, because watch how it goes away, boom. So that was definitely not a good look for Oprah. But these girls have laughed about their circumstances in the past, because they both have been on SNL before, and the skit that they were in was all about the paparazzi making fun of their weight.
Are you hungry? You're too skinny! Eat a sandwich! Yeah, eat a sandwich!
So that little clip was obviously directed towards, the Olsen twins and the fact that they are thin and they need to eat a burger. So maybe they approved of that and they just laughed it off. But I feel like this whole situation just isn't funny to me. I mean, 2004 was a very, very rough year for these girls. They both actually ended up dropping out of NYU after shortly arriving because they just felt like they couldn't trust anyone in their classes. At this time, they both were at the top of the food chain, and everyone everyone was talking about them, selling stories about them, and trying to figure out what was next. Actually, right before the twins left school, they got into a tiff with Spencer Pratt because he sold this photo of Mary-Kate when she was supposedly drinking to the press for $50,000 because he was, one, trying to make Mary-Kate look bad at the time because she just got out of a facility, she just dropped a movie, everybody's talking about her, and he wanted to try to get some clout for himself. I feel like Spencer Pratt was like the original clout chaser because he constantly was, degrading people in order to get headlines and to get popularity off of that. But 2004 wasn't all bad for the Olsen twins because they did become co-presidents of Dual Star. This is a company that they now own, and they started back in 1993. They started this company with a man named Robert Throne. And this man is a production director, and he was able to work with the Olsen twins to create this company. In 1993, they were only like 6 years old, so they obviously weren't running a company then, but they created this company, Dual Star, with the intentions that it will later become the Olsen twins' business. And it did. They used this company for all of their fragrances, all of their products, and back in the day, the Olsen twins were selling a ton. But Robert Throne is a production director, so he was able to work with these girls to create films including them. Through Dual Star, the twins featured in films like Double Double, Toll and Trouble, and 1994's How the West Was Fun, two films that the girls were in. This company also produced a series of musical mystery videos called The Adventures of Mary-Kate and Ashley, which premiered in 1994 and continued through 1997. But these twins were hard at work as children. They were worked very, very hard because in 1995, they came out with a film called It Takes Two. That same year, Full House ended, so they were done with that show, and unfortunately, their parents' marriage ended as well. These girls were very young and their parents divorced. To give you guys some background on the Olsen twins, their father's name is Dave. Their mother's name is Jarnette, but she goes by Jamie. They have an older brother named Trent, and they have a younger sister named Elizabeth. So they have a pretty large family. But then when the parents divorced, the dad actually went off and had 2 more children. So they have half-siblings, Courtney and Jake, from their father's second marriage. So there are a lot of kids in their family, but of course when they were working a ton at a young age, their parents split up, and I'm sure that definitely affected them and the household. Jamie Olsen gave birth to Mary-Kate and Ashley on June 13th, 1986 in Sherman Oaks, California. And then 6 months later, these girls were casted to work as Michelle Tanner on Full House. It was actually all by accident because the mom was supposedly friends with a friend who knew the casting director. She sent over a picture of her girls, and the casting director wanted to put them on Full House. The family prior to that did not have any like acting or Hollywood experience, but they were well off, like well enough to like have the mom like, friends with these casting directors and have a hookup and, in the Hollywood area so that they could send their girls off at 6 months old. Actually, well, they started filming at 9 months old. So 6 months old, they were casted. 9 months old, they were working. And the reason why these girls were actually casted as the child on the show was because having 2 of them made it easier for the production team to get around the child labor laws. There aren't many laws that protect child stars. I feel like there definitely needs to be more, but these young girls as infants can only work at 20 minutes at a time. Actually, Mary-Kate supposedly filmed most of season 1 because Ashley was very disruptive on set and she would cry a ton. But the infant could only work at 20 minutes at a time. I'm not too sure how long in between, like would it be 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off? That's not clear, but they had to cast 2 to at least make it worth it to have a baby in production. But not everyone on Full House loved that Mary-Kate and Ashley were there because John Stamos actually tried to get the girls fired at one point because they were crying so much on set that it was delaying productions and it was causing everyone a bunch of stress. But of course, they stayed on the show and they thrived. And honestly, that show kicked off their career and cemented them a role in Hollywood. We talked about a few films that the girls were in earlier, and of course they worked all throughout their childhood. There are so many like shows and movies that they did back in the day. It's even hard to keep up, and it's hard to think that they did this along with school. When I say they had absolutely no childhood, they did not have a childhood because they were constantly working all the time. I feel like this is definitely reflective in how they behave as adults, because as they got older, they kind of became like depressed, and I don't want to like use that really as an adjective, but like when you think about the Olsen twins, like in nowadays, you think about them, you know, really cold, very statuesque. They don't really show emotions. I don't really see them smile ever. I was trying to find some pictures of them smiling in like modern times, and I cannot find one. So part of me thinks that they went through things as children and as young stars that has left them damaged, and you know, they put up this wall because it's all that protects them from Hollywood, the paparazzi, and society. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that these young girls were exploited. I mean, back in 2003, there was a Rolling Stone article, and this interviewee thought it would be appropriate to ask these young girls, 16 at the time, back in 2003, whether they have their V card or not, and what were their intentions with losing it. And I was actually shook when I read that article, because I think it's crazy that someone from Rolling Stone, someone representing the brand, thought it was okay to ask 16-year-old girls about their V card. Like, that is never okay, and it reminds me of the treatment that Britney Spears and so many other pop princesses went through back in the day when they were young girls and subjected to these circumstances. In an interview in 2010, Mary-Kate and Ashley went into more detail about their traumatic childhood. She told this reporter that she felt like a little monkey performer when referring to her childhood, and she said that she looks at old photos of herself and she doesn't feel connected to them at all. I would never wish my upbringing on anyone. Just, again, like another weird thing that I found that makes me think that there could have been something more that happened with these girls. I feel like maybe they missed an opportunity to like expose some people because there weren't like a lot of internet resources or like, I don't know, social media, and they definitely do not like social media, so you're not going to find them on there. But the girls did post one selfie to social media one time, literally just one selfie out there in the world, and it was back in 2016. They went on Sephora's account to promote Olivia and James, which is some company or something, but they posted this selfie and it was iconic. It made headlines everywhere because they never post, like I said. But just a quick mention about Full House, because I feel like we just like cut it off right there. You know, Fuller House came out in 2016 and they were like the only ones who weren't on the show. So I definitely feel like something happened on Full House where they don't want to be involved, or at least something happened in their acting career that makes it so they don't want to be on screen or acting or anything like that anymore. They've completely disconnected from that lifestyle. In March 2017, they actually shared in an interview that they're used to being on the other side of the camera now, and it's actually hard for them to model because they're not on social media, they haven't been in front of the screen in a while, and they're kind of just over it. But let's switch gears and talk about another tragedy involving Mary-Kate Olsen. So you guys may have heard of Heath Ledger. He unfortunately passed away due to substances, and he was found by a masseuse, and at this point Heath was actually dating Mary-Kate for 3 months casually. This was back in 2008, and the masseuse found him. They found a bunch of calls from Mary-Kate on his phone, so the masseuse called Mary-Kate before she called 911, and Mary-Kate's security team arrived at Heath's place at the same time as the ambulance. There was a point in time when Mary-Kate was actually being investigated for Heath's passing, but she was ruled out as, you know, completely uninvolved, and he unfortunately passed away, and it was another tragedy that she had to live through. I mean, they weren't talking long. It was 3 months, but like it was long enough where she was calling him like, hey, what's up? And she sent her security, and he was there within minutes to check up on the home. But when it comes to both of these girls, it seems like they both like to date older men, which honestly no shame at all. I just wanted to note this because when you look at Ashley's dating history, you will see she dated a guy named George Kondo, who is 30 years older than her. She dated another guy named David Schultz, who is 17 years older than her. And her most recent known relationship was with Richard Sachs, who was 30 years older than her, but unfortunately they split back in in 2017. I'm not sure if Ashley's been with anyone since, but Mary-Kate did get married in 2015 to a man named Oliver Sikosi. They had an odd wedding with cigarettes everywhere. They had bowls of cigarettes everywhere. I guess it was super vibey. They took everyone's phone and it was a private event. I feel like her taking everyone's phone just reinforces the idea that Mary-Kate and Ashley do not trust anyone with technology and they don't want stories sold about them. Mary-Kate was smart and she got a prenup with this Oliver man because unfortunately they have divorced, but we will talk about that in a second. I want to talk a little bit more about the Olsen twins business because we talked about Dual Star, which is something that they own and something that they have produced a bunch of other companies through. One of those companies is The Row, which is their luxury brand, and they sell very, very expensive items on their shop. Let's go ahead and check out the website together. So here it is. It was established back in 2006 and it sells very expensive items. Like this one is just called Look One, and let's see how much it is. It's literally almost $4,000 for that jacket, $850 shoes. They have very, very expensive products, which honestly that's fine if they're going to be a luxury brand and that's what's it. That's cool, but like it's obviously a big jump from being like an actress in Full House to selling really expensive garments like this. I mean, obviously these twins have made themselves fashion icons. If you look at their red carpet looks, it's always baggy couture, homeless chic, very modern. So they deserve the right to be fashion designers. But it is a really expensive brand, and it's also had controversies associated with the brand. Like back in 2012, they sold a pill backpack for $5,000. Thinking about, the Olsen twins and their issues with rumors in the past about substances, it was weird to see them put out this bag because I just don't really like the idea of like wearing medications. I've never really liked that. I know it's like a TikTok thing and people will have like pill like earrings or little bags and stuff, and I don't know what that's called, but I don't really like it. It's fine, I respect it if you do it, but it's just not my taste. But the pill backpack was in 2012, and then in 2015 there was another controversy with the brand because they were actually sued. Interns were suing this brand because they were accusing them of wage theft. The lawsuit was led by a former design intern who claims they were working 50-hour work weeks without any money. They also claim that they were hospitalized at one point for dehydration after moving a bunch of wardrobes during the summertime. Obviously that's not really cool to not pay your interns, but like I've heard the fashion industry is very hard. Well, unfortunately the case never went to court because, well, I guess it's not unfortunate. Fortunately, the case never went to court because they settled outside of court, which I feel like when you settle outside of court, you're kind of like admitting to wrong, or you got bought off because you were able to like settle it outside of court and they could pay you off for it. And actually the brand had to pay $140,000 across 185 interns. So what's the math on that? Because I feel like that's not that much. So each intern got $756 for what they went through, which obviously isn't that much. Again, I'm like, wow, okay. But like, yeah, again, they settled outside the court. The interns weren't happy, and yeah, they said the lawsuit was meritless, but they ended up settling, so they kind of lost. I definitely don't like that story because I feel like you need to respect workers and pay them adequately. Too many people are shorted money, and I feel like these girls growing up as like childhood stars would have no real concept of money because they were making a lot of it like at 6 years old. They were like Forbes like richest young person at one point. So no shade to them, but like you definitely want to pay your workers, even if you're not like, I don't know, if you're a fashion designer and you have like interns, like they deserve to get paid. Hopefully they learned a lesson on that one. As far as recent updates, there haven't been too many. In 2019, the girls were spotted because there was a video posted on Instagram where they wished Ashley Benson a happy birthday. And here is that video.
Happy birthday, Ashley. I hope this year is one of the best ones yet. We're sending you lots of love. Super magical, and can't wait to meet you soon. Bye.
I definitely feel like they don't look the same, but like, I guess they seem happy. I don't know. I want them to be happy and healthy, and I can't say they are either or because they don't seem like it. Especially Mary-Kate, because I feel like she really has gone through it. I mean, throughout this whole video, it's been like Mary-Kate going through tragedies, and most recently, she is getting divorced. In April 2020, Mary-Kate signed papers to divorce Oliver Sikosi. But because New York City is handling COVID, they put off the paper paperwork because everyone's divorce filings was on hold. That following month, May 2020, Mary-Kate actually put in a request for an emergency order to push her divorce papers through. She claims that her ex-husband, Oliver, was terminating their lease and trying to force her out of the apartment by May 18th. So Oliver Sikosi was about to throw away all of Mary-Kate's things onto the road unless she got out. Fortunately, Mary-Kate has been staying outside of New York City with some friends and Ashley at an undisclosed location, and they've been hanging out, post-quarantine, or during COVID, not post-quarantine. Oh, can you imagine the day? Actually, I don't know if they're still in the same spot, but as of last year, in May time, she was with friends and with her sister away in some type of cabin, I'm sure, just living their best life. I don't know what they're doing now. They're not really on social media, and I feel like they really don't have to be. I feel like they get a pass because they went through so much, especially with paparazzi following them.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Can you please? That's enough.
With their lives being public ever since they were 6 months old, they deserve some privacy, and I feel like it's time to respect their decision that they don't want to be in the limelight and to kind of let them be. I mean, of course they're going to pop up here and there, and when they do, they will be trending. But Mary-Kate and Ashley was once a legend, forever a legend, and they will stay that way, whether they're behind the camera or in front of it. And I do feel like there is a mystery to them because they've been so isolated the last few years. We don't really know much about their personal lives. I mean, we know about the divorce stuff because that's public filing, but other than that, I feel like we really don't know what's happened. So I would love to see an update on them, but I also understand why they're fearful because I feel like they've been screwed over so many times. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Tell me what was the most disturbing part of this video, because for me, it was the fact that they were taking away her Range Rover and hiring people to watch her eat when she has an ED. That's obviously horrible for her. So I'm so sorry to Mary-Kate and Ashley. They don't deserve that. Society failed you, and I feel bad. I feel so bad for all these girls. Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears, and Mary-Kate and Ashley, and there are probably even more that I'm forgetting about. But at the end of my videos, I usually open P.O. Box items, so I'm going to open some here. This one's actually from Ashlyn's. She's got a company called Ashlyn's Resin Art. She's from Texas, and I'm really excited to open this. I actually followed her on Instagram, and I'm really excited to see what she made for me. If you guys did not know, I am wearing my merch, like I probably said earlier, and if you want to get it, no pressure, but it is on Amazon, and I really appreciate your guys' support. I usually never create anything to sell, so let's see what's going. Oh my gosh. It smells toxic in here, so let's see what's going on in here. Okay, so she sent me a note. Let's go ahead and read that first. Hey Sloan, I am a resin artist from Texas, and I love watching your channel. I wasn't sure what to send or to make you, so I decided to send you my most popular items. Self-defense keychains. Ooh, I know you have Bunny, and she isn't a pit bull or a kitty, but I hope you enjoy these small items from my small business. Oh, wow. And I will link everything below, Ashlyn. I really appreciate you sending this. Let's see what's going on here. I love the packaging, too. What is this called? It's not hieroglyphic, right? It's what is it called? I don't know, but the ASMR of it all. Oh, wow, look at this. So this is a keychain that I can use to get, if anyone tries to get me on the street. Wow, I think you want it like this, and it's like a kitty. This is actually really cute, and I love the mold. I love how it has actual nose and whiskers, and the little tassel makes it so nice. Wow, I would not think this is a small business. It looks like it's manufactured, could be at TJ Maxx or something, but wow, I love this so much, and it's also defensive, so I love that even more. Thank you, Ashlyn, for keeping me safe. And there's another one too, so let's see what this one's about. Another, ooh, it breaks itself out of the packaging. That's how you know it's got a point. This one's actually even sharper. So this, ooh, this is the pit bull, and I like how it has the green and the black and the sparkles. This one's oh my gosh, I love this one. This one's going directly on my backpack, so I can boom, boom, boom. I love these alternative devices to protect yourself because they're not necessarily a boom, boom, but they're a boom, 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 And I have, the green tassel just does it for me. Thank you so much, Ashlyn. These are both so sweet. I really appreciate it, and I will link your business below. Oh, I love it. And I have one more package to open. I've been opening 2 usually in videos because I just have so many and I want to get through them, and I feel really bad for you guys who are sending them and you're like, why have you been opening it? But I've honestly had not that much to talk about, so if you guys have video ideas, please email me, because I I'm just like kind of stuck in a rut lately. But this package is actually from Rosie Lizzie, I think. Lizzie. It's ooh. Oh, wow, okay, my window's about to fight me today. So let's get our little knife moment. I would use the sharper knife right now, but I'm still a little scared of that one because I was cutting myself, like, not cutting myself, but like cutting my hand by accident the other day. So this one again is from Rosie, and she's actually in Florida, yeah, in Hollywood, Florida. I almost said in Hollywood, but yeah, in Florida though. You know, there's 2 Hollywoods out here, and this is packaged really tight, so we're gonna take a moment to get this out. Ooh. So here is the note. It says, "Hi Sloan, I hope you enjoy my hand-wrapped crystals. Included a keychain and a necklace for you, plus some extras. Tiger's eye rock with lava rock, and a labradorite beads. And necklace is a, ooh, I cannot wait. Wow, let's just get into it because I cannot say these crystal names. But this one right here looks like it's a keychain, and it's so pretty. Look how it's wrapped. I love this one. I feel like this is the tiger one, right? Like, ooh, wow, and it's so professional too. I love how you guys have like legitimate businesses. Like, what is going on here? So her business is called Rosie's Wrapped Crystals, and it looks like she has a Depop and an Instagram, so I will link those both below, and she's got some cards right here, so perfect for me. And wow, this is a, what is this? Oh, it looks like a little wrap of sage. Aw, this is so vibey, Rosie. Thank you. And I love like, oh, I love the smell. I love the smell of sage. That is so nice. And I love the keychain. Hold up, where'd you go? Right here. Wow. Oh my gosh, if this could also be a weapon too, in a way. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to bring up the word. I should probably not say that. I'm gonna have to block that word out. And then here is another stone. Wow, this one's really pretty. It's like a deep blue color. I think you can't see how blue it is. Like, wow. It's like a really deep, really pretty blue with the silver wrapping, and I love the string too because it's like got a thick string to it. So wow, thank you so much, Rosie. I love that. And then there's a little bit of extra things in here. Let's see what's going on here. So it looks like she gave me a bag of lavender. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, which I love. And then she gave me 2 beautiful crystals. One that's like a clear crystal. Oh my gosh, guys. I've gotten so many crystals lately. I've never been like a crystal collector, but now I love them and I honestly feel the vibes. Why do I feel the vibes already? Especially this pink one. I love it so much. It reminds me of my favorite flower and favorite scent, which is rose. But thank you so much. I really enjoy these, and I'm just like shook at how you're able to like create this business. It's so impressive, and every single day I'm like, whoa, hold up, like these people are watching my videos, like it just doesn't even add up. But I am shook. Thank you so much, Ashlyn and Rosie. I really appreciate it, and I am just super impressed. So thank you guys, and I will see you both in a new video soon. Bye guys.